yet, man.
You're not leaving?
No, I'm just picking up my fiance.
Okay. Is that a good sign, Mario?
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, so what he said was he's not leaving yet. He's here to pick up his fiancée. And when I asked him, is that a good sign in relation to him possibly signing with the Bills, you could barely just hear him say, we'll see, we'll see. So right now he is upstairs waiting for his fiancée to arrive, accompanied by Bills defensive coordinator Dave Wannstedt. So the thinking would be that he's going to head back to the stadium with his fiancée, draw what conclusions you might want to about the fact that he's bringing his fiancée here, whether it means there's going to be an announcement of a signing, possibly. There had been some indications earlier today that Williams wanted to make some other visits before he decided on where he wanted to play. So, again, this will all shake out probably in the next couple hours, but Williams here at the airport right now waiting for his fiancée to...
So this is Mario Williams and his ex-fiancee. I guess I can start off the article with this. Read these two articles after I get done with this story. But this is your boy Mario Williams, the $100 million bum that the Buffalo Bills signed, 2 seasons ago. He's a bum. I'm not a Bills fan, so I don't care. They can keep sucking, but it was a dumb move. The man, I don't know, man. Potatoes got more sacks than this dude, and he's worth $100 million. Probably like 50 or 60 that is guaranteed, and he hasn't performed yet. Or at least that's what she said. But let's see. This article, the title is pretty weird too. It says, "You can't be serious, biatch," as Buffalo Bills baller Mario Williams suing his ex-fiancee for, get this, $700,085. Basically, this man is spent the average ring. When I'm gonna read the article after this, talks about that. The average ring is $5,000 for an engagement ring. This dude spent $800,000 on an engagement ring. But I guess you can do that when you have $100 million contracts. Yeah, I still wouldn't do that if I had a $1 million. If I had a $300 million contract, I still wouldn't do nothing stupid like that. But it is what it is. So I remember when he came here with the airport with her, when they were deciding whether or not, no matter of fact, he came first and by himself, and then she came like a week later. Of course, he had to pick her up, and he decided whether he's gonna come. And 2 years later, it's already broken off. So just think about let the chick keep the ring in this situation, because had you married her, she would be getting a lot more. I'm just saying. Because I live in New York, and New York is not, I don't know, one of my lawyer teachers said that, for some reason New York does not really respect the prenups. It's like morally or whatever in the statute, they're not respected. So judges and lawyers find ways to get around them easily here. Whereas on the West Coast, California, it's like, you gotta have one. Up north it's more taboo, but on the West Coast it's like, how could you get married without one? And I'll tell you some of the stories that one of my teachers told me. Basically, when he was trying to get a prenup, one of his boys wanted a prenup, he took his wife to get one, but his wife told him no. Right there in the damn office, she called him outside, and of course they were divorced a year later, and he didn't listen to his boy, but he was a good lawyer, so he found a way to get him to keep his stuff. Not all of it, of course. He got half of everything that he made during the marriage. Wasn't that much because it was short, but still, he didn't listen to his lawyer, and he got SOL. But article says, when Bills defensive end Mario Williams proposed to his fiancée, he sealed the deal with a $800,000 ring. Now that the engagement ring has been scuffed, Williams wants the ring back from Erin Marzouki, can't say her name. She refuses to surrender it, so Williams has sued. According to some news station, Will has filed suit Friday to recovery of the ring, which includes a 10-carat diamond ring. Reported alleges that Erin never intended to marry the plaintiff and used the relationship as a means to get the plaintiff's money and acquire gifts. Oh. She ended up with a quite expensive gift, but it came with a promise to marry Williams. Standard. Regardless of how the law sorts this one out, she should give back the ring. Giving back the ring part sounds good, but to be honest, how many of you ladies will really give back the ring? Damn near $1 million. That said, we can't shake the feeling that something doesn't seem right about this man suing his ex over a ring. What the freak you mean it doesn't seem right? It's weird. People think it's weird that Kobe's suing his mom because she's trying to sell his stuff, and it's weird that he's trying to sue his ex-fiancee because she's keeping the $1 million ring almost. What's wrong with people? Like, people be tripping. I don't understand. Fellas, can you ever see yourself asking for your ring back? Hell yes, I could. The situation is based on a condition. If the condition is not met, give me back my damn ring. I gotta use it again for the next one. If I was that foolish enough to do it twice.
Houston, Texas, Mario Williams wants a refund on his investment in love.
The Buffalo Bills defensive end is suing his ex-fiancee, trying to get the return of a nearly $800,000 engagement ring. Eyewitness News reporter Adela Uchida joining us live now with details on this still developing story. Adela?
Well, Dave, the lawsuit was filed in Harris County District Court. It says Erin Marzouki broke off her engagement with Mario Williams in January, and it asks for the return of the 10-carat $785,000 ring. But our legal analyst took a look at it and says we don't know the whole story. Former Texans player Mario Williams is less than a year into a $100 million contract with the Buffalo Bills, but he wants the engagement ring seen here on former fiancée Erin Marzouki's finger back. Williams' attorneys filed a lawsuit today asking for the return of the giant rock. Even though Texas law says an engagement ring is conditional on marriage, KTRK legal analyst Joel Androphy says getting the diamond back may not be easy.
It all depends on what each party's intentions were at the time and whether or not one person lied to the other.
I went in search of a comparable diamond today, calling upscale jewelers, and was told a 10-carat gem is not something bought on a whim. It is a special order, and stores wouldn't keep it in stock. This 5-carat diamond is roughly half the size of Marzouki's rock and retails for $70,000. Williams spent $785,000 on Marzouki's ring. The lawsuit says Williams proposed in February of 2012, and in January of this year, Marzouki broke it off.
If she's allowed to keep it, it's because he broke the agreement of marriage, and she was totally faithful.
The lawsuit says she ran up $108,000 on an American Express in 2012, and that Williams lavished her with $230,000 worth of gifts. But Androphy isn't convinced Williams was defrauded.
Very few people give somebody an $800,000 ring without having some compassion for somebody.
Now, my phone calls to Williams' attorneys and to the Buffalo Bills were not returned today. Meantime, that lawsuit is also asking for punitive damages from Marzouki. Live near Reliance Stadium, Adela Uchida, 13 Eyewitness News.
Well, I am here in several states, including New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. There is a conditional gift law. That means that if there is no marriage, the ring needs to be returned, regardless of who calls off the engagement. Now, Texas, California, and Washington follow the implied conditional gift law, where whomever breaks the engagement forfeits the right to the ring. And then finally, there is Montana, where the ring is an unconditional gift, meaning no matter who ends this relationship, the ring does not need to be given back.
Alrighty, so there's an article real quick about who gets to keep the ring, and you know, if something happens bad, their marriage is broken off. Title of the article is who gets to keep the ring in the wake of a broken engagement. The bride and the groom, the Southern Carolina Court of Appeals had the opportunity to answer this question in Campbell versus Robinson. In the case of Campbell versus Robinson, the groom-to-be filed a suit against Robinson, the bride-to-be, for return of a ring that Campbell provided to Robinson in connection of his proposal for marriage. After accepting the proposal for marriage, things began, but after some time the wedding was canceled and a dispute over the ownership of the ring began. The court stated fault does not determine ownership of the ring. In other words, whether it was the bride or the groom who canceled the engagement, fault is not the basis for the decision on who gets to keep the ring. Instead, the courts adopted the following standard as the rule. Yeah, buddy. Alright, so the rule of thumb is an engagement ring is a ring in its very nature is a symbol of the donor's continuing devotion to the donee. Once that engagement ring has been canceled, the ring no longer holds that significance. Thus, if the party presents evidence a ring was given in the contemplation of a marriage, the ring is an engagement ring. As an engagement ring, the gift is impededly conditioned upon the marriage taking place. Until the conditions underlying the gift is fulfilled, the attempted gift is unforeseeable and must be returned to the donor upon the donor's request. Wow. In this case, the bride alleged that the ring was an engagement ring at first, but was converted into an absolute gift when the engagement was canceled. The groom allegedly advised the bride that she could keep the ring, but although the courts did not immediately affirm the reverse, who should keep the ring, it was renamed for the retrial in light of the clarification of the law. In conclusion, fault is not for base of determining who is allowed to keep the ring, but rather if the engagement ring was given implied conditionally upon the marriage taking place, or alternatives as an absolute gift. Wow. I think it makes sense though. An engagement ring is conditional gift, and when the condition is not met, the ring needs to go back to where it came. I did not know this until recently, but Brother Burn did a video where he talked about, I guess he was engaged in a couple times, and he talked about the value, the ring's value and how they depreciate. I did not know that they dropped that price that much. One of my boys, he went through a divorce already, whatever, but he was with his girl, and they told me that, well, basically the story, what happened with the ring was, I guess they were having their problems, whatever, and she told him that they were gonna work it out or whatever, go see counseling, do things like that, but he took the ring because he didn't know, what was going on, and he knew that she was pretty much gonna get everything, so the ring was the only thing that he had that was like of value, like in real cash. So he thought. He paid like 7 G's for that ring too, and they divorced. Their marriage didn't last 2 years, so he's all like trying to take the ring, but then she lied to him and told him that, well, we're gonna work it out, we're gonna go see counseling, yada yada yada. So this idiot gives her back the ring, and what does she do? She takes the ring to her mom's house. Yeah, I don't even know what happened with that situation, but I know he told me that, they went split down the middle, and they didn't have no crazy divorce as far as, who got to keep what. She basically got to keep the house and the car, and he had to go back to the mom's house and live in the attic. But I know it was hilarious that, that's the only thing really of value that he owned. Like, he literally paid, 7 G's in cash for that, which he did working kind of off the books to get it, to do that. And she, that was the only thing that was real value. And then he told me he paid 7 G's for it, but if he wanted to go back and sell it to the place that he got it from, he can get no more than 2 G's. I did not know that wedding rings and all that depreciated like that. I did not know that. There's no way in hell I would ever spend that much money on a damn ring. I don't give a damn how much money I had. For them to depreciate like that, that's crazy. And just think like the hours and hours and hours he had to work to get that. And then marriage is over. That's unfortunate, whatever. Standard. But the fact that you spent so much time and energy investing in something, not even just the marriage part, just the money part and the working part, and then you can only get $2,000 for something you paid 7 G's for? That's crazy. I did not know that. There's no way in hell. Another quick article that's piggybacking off of this one. It starts off saying the same thing, that many courts have ruled the ring is a conditional gift that must be returned to the person who bought it. Of course, this is state to state, so it is what it is. While breaking off an engagement ring, it may help a couple dodge a messy divorce. It also doesn't always help them keep out of the courtroom. More than 5 G's are spent on an average engagement ring, and deciding who gets to keep the ring if the big day is called off is such a hotly contested issue that most states have laws governing its ownership. So if the average ring is 5 G's, that means if something pops off, it doesn't work out, that ring is really only worth about, if it's 5,000, I say probably 1,500 to two grand, that you couldn't sell it back to the place you bought it from. Obviously, if you sold it to a private sale, that would make more sense. But the markup on these things are ridiculous. I couldn't be about that life. I don't see the logic in it at all. Okay, some bitter lovers have taken the court cases. Coletta D. Pinero, 31, thought her broken off engagement was behind her when she learned ex-fiancee Christopher Reinhold was suing her, demanding the return of her ring that cost $17,500. The fudge? Anyways, they had dated for almost 2 years when Reinhold proposed in May of 2009, but the couple began to fight often about money issues. You think 17 G's on the damn wedding ring, dog? They split after 4 months. Later, she said Dana D. Pereiro, a physician assistant in Staten Island, New York, the following spring held a lawsuit. Reinhold and his attorneys did not respond to the request for comments. According to D. Pinero, she held on to the ring because he hadn't paid for his share of $40,000 of living expenses. Their deal, she had paid for the rent, food, car payments, and other bills, while Reinhold saved the ring. I helped save the ring as I feel like I was holding on to the ring for collateral. Laws vary from state to state, but many consider a ring as a conditional gift until the couple says I do. Meanwhile, regardless of who gets the cold feet, the ring must be returned to the person who bought it, says the New York-based attorney and president of the American Academy for Matrimonial Lawyers. But it's not always that simple. A New York judge ruled in 2006 that a woman could keep her 3.4 carat diamond engagement ring because her ex had not been divorced from his previous wife. Then he proposed. The fudge? What that got to do with anything? The Montana Supreme Court, meanwhile, has shot down the conditional gift theory, entirely ruling that the ring was rightfully properly of its recipients. In certain states, determining who gets the ring can result in who called off the wedding. And to complicate matters further, some states treat an engagement ring given on a holiday differently than ones given on a non-holiday. So don't propose on Entitlement Issues Day, or whether that be Mother's Day or Valentine's Day. Don't do that, because it could hurt you. In D. Pereiro's case, because the ring was given to her on her birthday, she argued that it should be hers to keep. That was stupid of him. New York state law was on her side, said, this is from my area, George Muscalato, a Lockport, New York-based attorney who recently represented a female client in an engagement ring-related suit. He did not represent D. Pinero. If you give her a ring on a holiday like Christmas or Valentine's Day, see, told you, or her birthday, then you're making a gift to her as a present. That is unconditional, he said. But as a legal proceedings dragged on for more than a year, D. Pinero said she ultimately agreed to a financial settlement with Reinhold, so he had to settle for the ring. Damn. While she was glad, and her time in the courts is behind her, D. Pinero said it's drastically changed her perspective on money and romantic relationships. I guess in some cases I was naive, she said. Money became very complicated in every future relationships. Well, damn. Couple comments real quick. An engagement ring is a symbol. I don't understand why a woman would even want to keep it once the wedding is called off, unless she helped pay for it. She should just give it back if the engagement ring is broken. If she did help pay for it, then the person who paid the most for the ring just keeps the ring and reimburse the other. The original article that I did read, which I couldn't find again, but it was talking about that situation, like why would he want it, and why would the argument was why would he want it, and what is he gonna do with it? And I'm like, give it to the next one, obviously, or just change a couple stones, or at least change the damn ban. I mean, you're not gonna get your money back for it, really. So, I mean, you might as well keep it in case you decide to do that again. Another comment says from Brandon, so it has come to this. I did not live in a conditional gift state. I would have my girlfriend sign a contract stating the ring should be returned should we not marry. But how many chicks you think gonna do that, Brian? And how long are you gonna be engaged? If you feel like you gotta do all that, though, man, it's crazy. It's like you shouldn't be getting married at all, honestly. Paul McCoy Errol said people really need a contingency plan with their significant others in case worse happens. I'm sorry for her trouble, but I'm happy she felt like she learned something about money and relationships. I wish more people would do the same. Kathleen says an engagement ring should be at least the same value as the dude's truck. We all know he will trade in the truck for a higher price bling. I don't know what the hell she's talking about. When I got engaged to my fiance from a person with a fake account, says my fiance signed a contingent agreement, gift agreement that said that if she did not go through with the wedding, I get the ring back. I guess you can do that, and I guess the chick will be down for that. Phil says if she's a whore, then she'll keep it, the ring, for services rendered. If she's not, she'll return the ring to the purchaser. It's that simple. Paul says, well, when one fails to give his or her heart to his or her beloved, and the beloved fails to receive or give in exchange is for his or her own heart, what is the point of keeping the ring? What is the merit symbol representation? Lack of love is a root of cause of the problems. Another comment from him is marriage is a relationship between a man and a woman, which is independence is equal, the dependence is mutual, and the obligation is reciprocal. I'll read that again. From Paul says, marriage is a relationship between a man and a woman in which the independence is equal, the dependency is mutual, and the obligation is reciprocal. I don't know, it's over my head. Weddings are expensive. Some of the next commenter says a lot's deposited, etc. on a bride's side. And, well, her comment is long, so she'll be the last one I read. Marriage is a contractual agreement. The reason why you need to get it legalized is to have papers prepared ahead of time. If a woman accepts a ring, she is in essence saying, I will agree to marry you. The engagement in many countries is as good as being married. Glad that's not here. If the man reneges on the arrangement and close enough to the date of the impeding wedding, the woman should be allowed to keep the ring if she so desires. Myself, I would not want the ring and give it back. But then again, there are suitors that may call for her to keep it. One being paying off an already committed venues that were contracted for the wedding. I believe if a woman calls off a wedding, she's breaking her commitment, rendering the marriage, and she should return the ring. I don't think it is that hard of a decision to make. If the woman thought, if the woman thought and spent a lot of her own hard-earned money to pay for the many things concerning the wedding itself, she may, in her right to keep the ring, she'll pay off other debts. If that's the case, for one, I would not want to hold on to a ring from a man who broke a contractual agreement for the wedding and would want to give it back, but it shouldn't be held against him. It shouldn't be held against her for keeping it if it can be proven that sale of the ring paid off debts from the canceled wedding. Oh, that was pretty much, I don't know, I guess in reality it's way too much bureaucracy involved in this nonsense. Wow. I mean, there's points that, legally courts and lawyers all have to be involved in these situations because when stuff happens. So it's just crazy that, you know, marriage should simply just be between the creator, a husband, a wife, and their religious leader. But the government and then lawyers and judges, stuff is just too damn complicated for me.